Hey guys, we're doing an ISX. Some people call it ISX, but this is an X15 generation Cummins. Back in the day, whenever I was starting doing these a lot, I saw a lot more valve guide and valve seat failures. Here lately, I see a lot of drop liners in this generation. This is a 2018 model, and it's an X15. I'm pretty sure it's an X15 114, but anyways, right now we got this one pulled apart. I was going to show you some things about it. So we pulled it apart because the customer complained of blow by, and come over here and clean this up a little bit. You can see on this back liner, it's the easiest one to get to from where we're at. If you look on this back liner, you can see this polish right here, right there. That's going to cause your piston ring to let by compression, and it looks like somebody just came in there with a sandblaster. I mean, it's polished like smooth. What you want to see is a good crosshatch, like I'll show you on this board. If you look down here, it's still polished down here also, but you can kind of see a little bit of a crosshatch. You want to see a real good strong crosshatch in this. It's polished all the way down pretty much. You can see it start being crosshatched down to here, but that's going to be our cause of this right here. Most engines we pull down, we go ahead and check protrusion on, just for, caution, save our butt, make sure we don't put out an engine that has a head gasket issue later on, or premature failed liner. Most of the time we've done these engines, which I do cut the blocks. I've cut a couple Cummins blocks, and most of the time we do these engines, the liner flange or the shim is usually the issue, and we usually can correct any protrusion issues with a new liner and shim. But there are those cases where you don't have enough protrusion on the liner coming out of the block, which Cummins wants you to run about 10 to 12. Most factory are 10. When I cut them, I try to go to 12 is where I like to be. And that's 12 thousandths out of the block, which on dial indicator, this one particularly, every line that you see here, you can see right there, every line you see there is 0.001. So when I'm telling you 10 thousandths, I'm meaning 0.010, not 0.001. It's going to be 0.010, and that would mean 10 thousandths. So I like to keep them about 10 thousandths out of the block, and that's just going to make sure you have a good sealing surface on your fire ring, so that your liner seals against your head. That's why you need your liner a little higher out of the block. Cat's the same thing, they just got different specs. Everybody's got their own spec. Caterpillar, we do a lot of Caterpillar too. They run a spacer plate, so they got a little thing different going on. They have a top flange. They have a top flange liner instead of this Cummins, which is a mid flange liner. So when you're cutting the Cat, it's a little easier because you just cut the top of the deck. Instead of a Cummins, you got to cut inside in the mid deck. Right there, mid bore, you have to cut the liner. But we got a liner installation tool is actually what this is. I didn't buy the dealer one. Earlier in my career, I bought a lot of dealer equipment, and I bought a lot of Snap-on specific tools and stuff like that. And I found that you can get some cheaper stuff off the interweb that works just fine. We've been using this for probably 2-3 years now, and it's a great product. Different tool manufacturers, aftermarkets, they'll make it, and it'll work just fine. It does what we want to do. It's actually for installing liners, but Cummins wants you to use it whenever you're checking for protrusion too. So I already took the time to torque this down, and it's torqued down. Cummins wants you to torque it down at 100 foot-pounds. I would say to use the torque wrench you know, let's see where my torque wrench is around here. I'll show you what I use. This is electronic torque wrench. I've not had too many issues out of it. As long as you got batteries in it, she's good. But this is what I use to torque most of my engine stuff. I think the accuracy is like plus or minus 1% of accuracy, so it's pretty dang accurate. But on these bolts right here, I do torque them down, but honestly, if you get them tight with about a 1/2 inch ratchet, all you're trying to do is set that liner down as far as it can go to where you're barely stretching the bolt, so there's no part of this liner that's floating at all. So, but right now we'll go ahead and check the protrusion, and I'll show you how to do that. This is called a sled gauge. Essential Tools. I bought this on the interwebs also. I want to say it was 180 for the kit. You always make sure this is clean. Your block's clean. We already cleaned the block off really well. Brake cleaned it. I'm gonna have to move this so you can see better. I'm gonna check it over here on mine, and so what you want to do is you want to come in here. You can set to 0, it's easier to read. You want to set to 0, it's easier to read. But you can come over here, and you gotta get some good light because these numbers are small. I'll turn it around in here in a second and show you what I'm doing. So you want to start here on the edge of the block right here and move it over. Right there, that shows, and you can kind of come back and forth and get your lowest position. Where you really want to measure is right there where the fire ring hits, but on a used liner, these are used, so it's kind of hard to tell. So 5, 6, so this is showing 7/1000ths on this one right here. So it's a little low, but these are used liners, you know, and you also want to make sure you got to check each side. So you got to check this corner, this corner, this corner, and this corner. And each liner are going to be different measurements. You need to be within 2/1000ths on the same liner, and I want to say it's 4/1000ths per adjacent liners. And you can actually, there's worksheets online where you can actually get a worksheet. It'll tell you the specs and everything of a Cat or a Cummins, and it'll give you the options that you need. So let me show you right here. Move that to 0. It's already 0. Come down. That'll show you where we're at. Then we come back to the block. Are you getting 7 also? Yeah. Okay. So that's how you check liner protrusion. Of course, you're going to go through the entire block and check each one, each corner, and then I'll tell you if you need to do any machine work on it. Of course, we're going to replace the liners, and then we'll usually just replace the liners and check again. Like I said, this engine got about 600,000 on it, 700, which that's kind of not too high on mileage, but that's usually when they seem to start going for us in the oil field application. So anyways, if you want to come over here, I can show you a couple things. Show them the camshaft. So when we pulled the camshaft out, when we pulled the rocker arm, we saw that the camshaft had a bad spot in it. I want to get the light so you can see this better. Let me get the light. This camshaft lobe, number 5, you can see the metal's just rolled up, all the hardness is gone, and it's just gnarled up that lobe. Well, that's a replacement failure. You have to replace the camshaft, the entire camshaft, even if one goes bad. This is probably our 6th or 7th this year that we've had to replace for that issue. Come over here and show you the roller on the rocker arm. See, the roller's the same exact way. That's another failure that we've been seeing on Cummins. Look right there, see it pretty good. And of course, this is a good roller. You can see the shininess and smoothness, perfect, polished, like what you don't want the liner to look like. So anyways, hope that gave you some information about this. As my friend Derek would say, maybe you would bloop some comments down in the comment section and tell me what you want to see next, and some of our future overhauls we'll share what we can. Thanks.